Found this book that I've had for a while. Don't know where I got it. Maybe Barnes & Noble. Can't find any more of this. This page right here is speaking to me, as the back page should be. So, I'm Joanne, and I'm glad that you're here to make a junk journal with me. I'm going to go over it, not completely, but show you some of my process and give you a little narration and hopefully keep it very interesting, and maybe you might want to stay all the way till the end. So let's go. I pause and I take time to go look around my room, get up, exercise my legs, and I find all of this stuff in my room that there's no way you can remember all the things that you have when you have as much stuff as I do. So I made myself a nice pile, and then I stopped looking. The rain is pouring down. Just had to check that out. And I just got some new laces from Etsy, and I'm going to bring some of them over and consider some of these other ones. Just stretching my legs and looking at my inventory. It's always a good thing. It makes you feel good too. Okay, so I got back to my desk and I have found my smoother. I know it's not called a smoother, but I don't know what it is. And I've got all these things. I'm going to put them in my nice little cup here. And I'm going to sit on that for a little bit, not knowing exactly what I want. Take a bite of my cucumbers, take a sip of my coffee, I lit my candle, and I'm really enjoying this time. Just taking the time to make a journal that doesn't have any specific need or reason for, just because I just want to sit at my table and I want to create something. I just feel the need to create. And I'll tell you, it all started with this paper right here. I was looking, my craft room also has a dual purpose. It's also my office for paperwork, and this was sitting on my desk, and I said, man, I really need to use that paper. I wanted it to be featured as the front cover, and I did this coffee staining a while back, and I love it when it has like a folded edge that just kind of happens. I wanted to use that and feature that somehow. Usually what I do is make my cover first, and then I move on to the insides. Today I put my pages together and then did the outside. And it's always good to switch things up. I don't like to be in a box and do something this way or that way, and every time it has to be the exact same way. Maybe it's good for muscle memory, but it's not good for an ADD brain, because we are all over the place, and that's just how we function. Now let's see what we're going to do with this. I'm going to get out my mat, my silicone mat, because I'm going to probably get glue all over the place if I don't. And there's no need to just keep cleaning everything. Having the mat underneath of there will be good for me. Most of the time when I'm doing it, making a journal, I will fold it and open it and fold it and go back and forth just like everybody else. It's kind of how our brain just exercises our brain, our creative brain, when we do that. It's like when you do barbells and you just exercise your arms. This is exercising my creative brain, going back and forth, flipping the pages and deciding what to do with them. This art glitter glue, I'll tell you, it grips really nicely. It doesn't want to come out of the bottle for me most of the time. And the other time, I can't get that needle to go back in that little hole. But it is a lot better than using the Beacons glue. I'll say that. I'm going to glue this back page down, which is just a piece of tea-dyed paper. The edge where it's turned up, I'm going to keep that turned up, but I decided I didn't want to have this file folder showing, so I took a piece of a digital that I had laying around in my pile. My goal is to try to get my pile down, and I just make it as a base underneath, and then it fits the bill perfectly. I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and add some lace, some doilies, and different things, but I'm not going to bring you over there because my sewing machine is on a very shaky table. So I've done all the sewing I think I'm going to be doing. And now I'm going to put the signature in, which is starting to get a little full. So before I get it too much busier than it is, I'll put this signature in. When I started this journal, I thought I'm going to use the digitals that I already printed off and paid for. And these tags are a little slim, and I always wonder, what am I going to do with those little skinny tags? Sometimes I'll buy a digital and it'll have skinny little tags and skinny pieces of like stuff, like those things that you wind the embroidery floss over. And I always wonder, how am I going to use my copy paper to print these and then actually use them in a journal? The only way that I can figure to do it is take something like this file folder, manila file folder, that you can get anywhere really cheap, and use it as a middle to give the tag some firmness. Because I have a printer, it's an Epson 2850, it's an Eco Tank, and it's very, very temperamental. It doesn't want to take my coffee dyed paper, and like sometimes I want to print on that and it won't let me print on it. So somebody might say, why don't you just use a thicker copying paper when you're doing this? Because it doesn't always work for me. This is the alternative that I have, is just take this folder and put it in between, make an Oreo sandwich, put the digital in the top, the folder in the middle, and then back it with some kind of paper. Usually this one I already had, and I wanted to smooth this out too. This one I had on my desk, this manila paper, and then that gets all over the place. But I was trying to not let those glue lines show, because it seemed like maybe they were showing because the way I was scribbling on the glue. But still, I still like it more than Beacon. It doesn't stink, and it doesn't make my fingers peel as much as the Beacons does. I'm going to use this Distress ink. I finally found another thing of brown, and I'm just going to cut this out. Are all glued down, and some of them were not. And so just a little bit of glue, take my baby wipe, and they are going to be good to go. I just have to put some holes in them, and then find some ribbon and a little bit of Distress Oxide. And does this happen to you? There's my frizzy hair from the rain. I lost my ink pad. The funny thing is, as I'm editing, I edit it out, I heard it fall on the floor. I didn't see it on the floor, but I heard it. So I'll just use this and, get my fingers all brown, I mean, I'm crafting. They're going to be all covered in something. It's all good. It's all fun. It's fun. I love it. I really do. It's such therapy. I mean, don't you agree? It's just therapy. Love it. There we go. We're going to put some holes in there, and then we'll be good to go. So there's 3 of them. If I don't use them all, at least I have some for another time. I'm going to get out my nice box of lace and doilies. I just look at that. It's just a beautiful thing. This yarn is yarn that I was never able to make anything with because there wasn't enough of it. But it's this silky, beautiful blue and green. So I'm going to dig that out and see what I can do here. This white lace grabbed me. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this. This little piece of tulle was in there, and it may not show on camera, but it's a really pretty light blue. And I have a habit of keeping little things, and I try not to be a hoarder. I am a little bit. I'm not like a full-fledged hoarder. I don't have to save every single thing, and I don't want to be that. But I do like it when I have something that I just pick up and then I can use it, because then it kind of justifies me for saving it in my mind. That's pretty. I like that. So we'll just keep moving on with these tags that have to have some kind of holder on the top. First I thought I could just leave them because they were pretty, and then it did not sit well with me. So just digging, and found that the white lace was going to be a little bit of a challenge for me. First I thought I would cut it, and it's kind of jagged because I have no idea what I used it for. Something journal oriented, I believe. But I also do DIY. I have another channel where I do sewing, and I do some DIY projects on that, so it could be something I used for that too. But I feel like this white lace with the blue looks really good, and I want to make it into a bow. So I do. And then I don't like it. These Tim Holtz pieces that I have a ton of, because whenever there was a sale, again, like I said before, at Joann Fabrics, I would buy them when they were 40% off. For some reason, I thought I needed to have hundreds of them. Sometimes I look at all my stuff and I go, Joann, you are not going to be able to use all of these things because you would be making thousands of journals. And though I have some for sale on eBay, I'll be honest, they're not really selling like hotcakes. I don't know, they don't sell like hotcakes. I'd like them to, but they don't. So I have a lot of stuff, Tim Holtz included. I love a lot of the Tim Holtz stuff. I'm always happy though when I can use the little pieces and I can use all the stuff that I already purchased. The good thing is that I'm not buying more things to make journals and to create tags and to fill my journals up, because I have all the stuff that I need. I just need to use it. And I will say again that journaling for me is therapy. I'll tell you a quick little story if you're still with me. August of 2018, lost my son, and so it was pretty depressing, as you can imagine, because I had lost my daughter 2 years before. I did write a book. I will insert that book at the end or somewhere in here because it helped me to release my grief, I guess you can say. I was so depressed, and one day I just sat down on my craft table, which wasn't even a craft table at the time. It was just a table that I had crafts. I didn't really know how to make journals, and I just started sitting down, and I told myself, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to make anything, just go and sit at the table. And I did that, and before I knew it, it helped me to get out of my depression. Now I feel like when I'm in a slump and I can encourage my own self to go and sit at my table and to be productive, I tell myself, go and sit down and go and do something. Go and make something. It doesn't have to be like everybody else is. It doesn't have to get 1 million likes. It doesn't have to get 1 million subscribers or any of that. It just has to work the... I don't like to use the word grief. I hate it because I feel like it's so overused. Work the bugs out of you. You know, just work that sadness. The word is sadness. Work this sadness out of you. I didn't want to be happy. I didn't want to be sad either. But I didn't want to allow myself to be happy. But when I started creating these journals, then I started feeling the sadness was starting to diminish, and it helped me So that's why you'll hear me use the word therapy a lot, because it's kind of my therapy. It's not kind of, it is. It's a good therapy. I should do it more often, because if I did, then I would have less supplies in boxes and other places, and there'd be a journal. My hope was that I was going to sell more journals, but that's okay if I don't. I'm not even upset about that anymore. And what do you do to keep your pages from gluing together? Serial liners. There. This is looking a little plain compared to the rest. So what can we do to that? This is not really my favorite, but it could work here, right? I think it could. Yeah. This piece is another one of those pieces that was laying around, and I probably should have thrown it away, but here it is. I found a place for it. Love finding a place for those little itty bitty things. As I'm editing this, I'm saying, geez, Joanne, why didn't you use your smoother bone folder thing? I probably lost it again. That's probably why I didn't. Now, I have this scallop shell. My friend just gave me a little present. Well, lots of big presents, actually. And it was in there, and I was thinking, how can I put that on the cover? Couldn't figure it out, so I moved on to the lace. And there's the serial liner. I'm using it. I glued this down. First I thought I might sew it, and then nah, I don't want that table to be shaking on me. And this glue grabs so nicely that why not just use the glue, use the serial liner, done deal. Off to the next thing. Now, what am I going to do next? I'm still going back and forth with those frames. I don't really want to cover up this beautiful digital. I really don't, but I like how that looks. And if I decide to sell this journal, if there's ever any interest, let me know in the comments. I will let the person decide. They could put a piece of a photo in there. They could, draw something in there. Okay, it's time to look at this journal. Let's look inside and see what we have. Let's see what it looks like. I'll leave that there. Mr. Rooster. Kate Greenway. Place to journal. More places. Thanks for watching.